So, welcome back to the channel. Today I decided to give you guys something different, to put a short pause on the music reactions and do, something else, something different. I should give it a try and see your guys' reaction, your guys' thoughts about it, and so on, right? So leave your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you think about this type of video, and I hope you enjoy it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Sit back, grab some popcorns or some munchies, and let's dive in.
And first up on the Executioner's block, we have our beloved Toad from the Super Mario series.
Okay.
Named after his toadstool mushroom head, most of us would assume that Toad is essentially a walking, talking mushroom. Needless to say, none of us ever envisioned what illustrator Alex Solis did when he drew this. Sorry, I just need a moment to rip my eyeballs out and scream.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, Alex suggests that perhaps Toad's eyes aren't eyes after all, but huge nostrils, and that his actual eyes and freakishly shaped head are concealed under his toadstool hat.
Hold on. Yeah, I kind of see that, but why would Toad have the eyes covered? How could it see doing stuff like bro, it makes no sense, but it's ridiculous.
Eyes and freakishly shaped head are concealed
head,
under his toadstool hat. I miss the person I was before I saw this. On the very niche topic of nostrils becoming eyes, sometimes I can't believe this is how I make a living. Let me turn your attention to Apple's red-faced sweating emoji. The theory being that what we initially perceived to be the eyes are actually just huge nostrils making the downturned brows closed eyes. And if the eyes were open, well, it'd look a little something like this.
Something like Toad? But I don't see that. I mean, I don't think this is true. What do you guys think? Honestly, to have that face with the tongue out and sweating, and I don't see it.
I can only sincerely apologize. Back to ruining iconic characters now, though, and it seems it's not only Toad who's been accused of wearing a hat, but our boy Mickey Mouse, too. Debuting in 1928, it's safe to say that this mouse is getting on a little bit, and as such, one illustrator imagined how Mickey might now be wearing fake ears hiding his balding head. Be that as it may, I'm a little puzzled and disturbed about why he now has human ears. Highly unnerving to imagine that perhaps Mickey isn't a mouse after all, but some bizarre humanoid creature. Either way, I can confidently say this has ruined my childhood. Thanks, Internet. You've done it again. But if there's one childhood character theory that outcreeps all the rest, then it would have to be the Thomas the Tank Engine one coming up now. Alright, so in his natural state, Thomas is admittedly already pretty creepy.
I wonder what did they do with this. I always wondered how, I can see this cartoon, right? And taking it to the level of making it more reliable with a human face, but I really wonder what they planned for this.
A gray human face pasted onto a steam train? It's pretty terrifying if you think about it. What's more terrifying, though, is one meme's explanation of what's going on, as online theorists have suggested Thomas is actually some wormy centipede-like creature with 6 legs which he can use to scuttle in and out of his steam train shell. I can't quite describe how I feel, but if anyone knows a word that means
bro, to be like a slug, like a snail, and the locomotive to be actually his shell. But why? If he was what you just saw with legs, how could that thing use the wheels? Makes no sense again.
While there are many logos that are great in their own ways, I've got some logos here that are so well designed that they actually conceal hidden meanings. How so? Well, let's take a look at that FedEx logo, for example.
I think I've seen this. If you look at the last 2 letters, right, E and X, if you look between them, you can see an arrow, and I think I saw that thing some years ago, but also I've seen it a while back in a video like this on YouTube as well. So yeah.
Well, if you shift your attention to the space between the E and X, you'll see how there's actually a covert right-facing arrow representing FedEx's forward momentum and goal of precision when delivering goods. Pretty neat, huh? Designer Lyndon Leader dreamt this up when he redesigned the company's logo back in 1994, cementing its place as one of the most iconic logos ever.
Even now, if you look at this here, can you see the mouse? Look at the same thing as the arrow, but with the older version. Kind of looks like a train, not Thomas, just an actual train.
Back in 1994, cementing its place as one of the most iconic logos ever. Pretty hard to unsee the arrow now, you've seen it, right? And I have another example of this right up my sleeve as we take a look at the Toblerone logo. It might seem obvious that the mountain is referring to the Swiss Alps in Switzerland, from where the chocolate originates, but
that thing looks like a fox standing on two legs, or like a porcupine or something.
Actually goes much deeper than that when you notice how the mountain conceals the silhouette of a bear.
I saw the other white spaces behind the bear, as he said, as some spines or something.
Please tell me I'm not the only one who never spotted this. Interestingly, there's a very specific reason as to why the bear is there. You see, Toblerone was created in the Swiss city of Bern, which is known as the City of Bears. So much so, there's even a bear featured on the city's coat of arms. The chocolate logo's inclusion of the bear was designed by the creators Jean Tobler, Theodore Tobler, and Emil Bowman, as a way to pay homage to their hometown of Bern. And here's another tidbit for you. Did you know that the name Toblerone is actually a fusion of the surname Tobler and the Italian candy Torrone, which is made of nuts and honey? Pretty fascinating how a seemingly simple logo can hold so much information. Continuing on with this theme, did you know that there's actually a very clever meaning behind the Tesla logo? Although it might at first appear to just be the letter T in reference to the word Tesla, it actually has a dual meaning. Founders Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning named the company Tesla due to some of their cars incorporating alternating current induction motors, which were developed by 19th century inventor Nikola Tesla, as well as a general respect for the inventor's innovations. Beyond the homage to Nikola Tesla, the T logo also references part of the cross-section of an electric motor. A double-meaning stroke of genius, I must admit. Having said all that, though, some internet users have, well, other theories. Yep, some people have pointed out the logo's likeness to a cat's nose. I mean, while there's no real connection to the company, there really is no denying it. Trouble is, after learning about all the genius and thought behind the logo's design, all I can see now is a cat's nose. I just want to give that little thing a boop. Evidently, though, as we're about to see, not every logo or sign are subject to quite so much consideration. I mean, just check out this ad from some state of Vermont pure maple syrup. Now, the idea, I'm sure, was to show the shape of the state.
I've seen it now. He's a human taking a leak. I mean, a man, not a human.
Of Vermont leaking its syrup into a bucket. However, the effect given is, well, shall we say, a little less PG. Let's move on. Anyway, speaking of poorly thought out signs, one beachgoer spotted this beauty. The intended message was, of course, if you see someone drowning, call 911. But the addition of the stickman drawing, which looks a lot like laugh out loud, somewhat lessens the serious nature of drowning.
Exactly.
Lol. It reads more like, if you see someone drowning, go ahead and laugh out loud. Oh, and maybe call 911. I don't know. Let this be a lesson that the style of an illustration is imperative. Jolly old England. Shine your shoes, governor. We'll start our British.
Bro, I must say this. I don't know why, but when it comes to US, everyone thinking of someone speaking UK English, right? They have to do like whatever they say to imitate an English person. They have to add that word at the end, governor. I mean, by now, can't you just find other words? You just have to put that, or just cut it off from your sentence. Like, I think it is. I'm not sure if it's only me, but I had enough of that. Like, everywhere is like governor, governor, governor. It's too much for me.
Batch of eyeball befuddlers with this video of the Scalpel Building in London. Let's just hit the play button here and get this clip rolling. Hold on a minute. Oh, that's not a video play button. That's the building's roof catching the light. That's right, at just the right angle. You can see how the abstract shape of the building's roof looks just like a play button. And I have to admit, I genuinely fell for this illusion at first and was tapping away like a madman. Damn you, London, and your freaky-shaped skyscrapers. But did you know there's actually a very...
It's not that. It's just the angle that picture was taken. That's it.
Very good reason for London's bizarre-shaped skyline, and it actually dates all the way back to the 1930s. You see, up until that point, St. Paul's Cathedral had been the tallest building in the city. But with technological advancements, buildings were getting taller and taller. With St. Paul's being a sacred building, the fear was tall buildings would completely block all views of it, and so laws were put in place to protect certain viewing points. As such, some tall buildings in the City of London have had to be shaped oddly to accommodate these protected sightlines, known as viewing corridors. As a result, London now has one of the most unique and distinctive skylines in the world. And folks looking towards the city from places like Primrose Hill and Greenwich Park are all guaranteed a good look at old St. Paul's. So knowing what you know now, I'm sure you'll never look at central London the same.
I used to drive past that St. Paul's Church 6 nights a week for 4 years straight while I was delivering bread, like buns for Five Guys burger shops, or Byron burger shops, or Honest Burgers, and other stuff. Like, that brings back memories. And I never gave it that much of a big importance. It's just, a nice old building, tourist attraction. And it's funny, I took it for granted somehow, right? Because I never visited there during the day, but I was driving past it 6 nights a week. Yeah, crazy.
Again. Moving on now, and while you might think the letter G is pretty unassuming, did you know that in certain fonts it can actually look like a spinning arrow? Is this in any way important information? Absolutely not.
I just seen it.
Will you now think of this every time you encounter the letter G? I'm afraid so. To a similar effect, I can no longer look at -4 degrees without seeing a dude sat down letting out a fart.
I saw this on a dash of a van a few months ago. Man, I was laughing so hard.
I've never related to a number as much in my life. Boy, is it going to be an exciting day for me when the temperature drops to -4. Keeping things numerical, have you ever noticed anything interesting about the 8 of Diamonds playing card? Well, if you connect the outer diamonds, you'll see how the negative space forms the shape of the number 8. How cool is that?
Nice.
This may have started as a coincidence, but given how much thought is put into certain card designs, I wouldn't be surprised if card manufacturers lean into it. Speaking of happy accidents, in English, if you look at the first letters of the calendar months chronologically in a linear line, you'll see that the months July, August, September, October, and November spell out the name Jason. Question is,
You can add December as well. Jason D. Jason Decker. Jason Derek. I don't know.
who's Jason? What does he know, and why is he hiding in the months? This is officially a conspiracy, and I won't stop until I get to the bottom of it. I'm on to you, Jason, if that's even your real name. Anyway, moving on to something different now.
Jason Statham.
And there are a few things in life that bring me as much joy as knowing that the aerial view of the city of Venice, Italy looks eerily similar to dehydrated Patrick Starr. I mean, from his body shape to his eyes and even downturned mouth.
Another thing, how can a ocean star can get dehydrated under the water?
Resemblance is uncanny, leading me to
What about
suspect
the
that Patrick
tail?
Starr is a time traveler who the ancient precursors of Venice worshipped, creating their city in his image. That's the only explanation, right? Sticking to the theme of maps, if colored accordingly, the states of Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky look like a chef frying up some food. And ironically, the state of Kentucky looks like it could be some Kentucky Fried Chicken. Anyone else suddenly feeling a little hungry?
Me.
Keeping things all American, just take a look at this trash can and tell me if it reminds you of anyone. Yeah, it's giving off a Donald Trump vibe for sure. If only the trash can were blue and red, it'd be almost identical. Ah, much better. Similarly, someone must have been throwing out the world's biggest wig, resulting in yet another Trump-looking trash can. Either that, or this is actually just Donald Trump playing a not-so-good game of hide-and-seek. On the topic of Trump, here's another quick one for you. We take Donald Duck, we flip him around, we get Donald Trump. This is huge news. Huge. Let's move from feathers to fur now with another iconic character. Take a look at this hook and tell me I'm not the only one who sees Scrat the Squirrel from the Ice Age movies. I mean, with the long nose, bulging eyes, and mouth ajar, the likeness is uncanny. And, well, it seems there's no escaping Scrat the Squirrel, with his likeness also being seen in this wash basin here. The darn squirrel is everywhere. But what's going on here? How is it that our brains can see a squirrel's face in something as obscure as a faucet? Well, it's actually a psychological phenomenon known as pareidolia. In simple terms, pareidolia is where we see faces or give general meanings to patterns which are otherwise completely random. It's part of our brain's natural wiring to be super good at detecting faces, which allows us to rapidly detect threats and understand social cues. And you can see it working overtime by noticing faces in cars, buildings, furniture, and, well, just about anything. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this wall hook, because all I can see is a drunken octopus who wants to fight me. With its crossed eyes and clenched tentacles, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to see one of these again without feeling slightly intimidated.
I was seeing this as all 8 tentacles being 4 in right and 4 in left, and standing like that in all 4s, all 8s.
I'm ever going to be able to see one of these again without feeling slightly intimidated. Similarly poised to swing, if you look at a hammer from the right angle, it looks very much like a guy holding a giant baseball bat about to hit a home run. And damn it,
Bro, this video is interesting. It's really interesting. I like it.
I've tried looking at it a million different ways now, but that is all I can see. Many times, however, pareidolia can occur by even more unlikely chance. Just look at how the bubbles formed in this person's coffee, creating the perfect image of a frog. Such a cute little fella. Shame about having to drink him. Likewise here with this joyful little onion. My goal in life is to be as happy as this onion is. Even though she stinks and makes people cry all the time, she still has a smile on her face. One of the most mind-blowing instances of pareidolia, though, is this can of paint in which you can see the outline of a cat's side profile and paw. Guys, call me crazy, but I think this might actually be a sign from my dead cat, Mrs. Whiskerton. Mrs. Whiskerton, if you can hear me now, meow 3 times. And perhaps one of the creepiest examples of pareidolia I found. Tell me I'm not the only one who sees the faces of cursed grannies in this baby's car seat. It's kind of reminiscent of Norman Bates dressed as his mother from Hitchcock's.
No, all I see is the face with the black thing being the hair on top of the head, but then the eyes have big long tears coming out of it.
Psycho, which of course only makes it all the more terrifying. In a similar vein, one Reddit user had a bit of a jump scare when they noticed this shadow lurking in their curtains. Super creepy. It still blows my mind how through just a bunch of random shadows our brains can see a whole ghostly face. Speaking
Is that Chuck Norris?
of shadows, who knew water bottle shadows could look like a pair of demonic fat bald men sinisterly grinning? Looks like your divorced uncle who has a lot of out-of-pocket political opinions after drinking too much and ruining the family Christmas. The most terrifying thing I realized in making this video, however, is just how chronically single I am. So much so I found myself feeling jealous of a dented car. I mean, surely I'm not the only one who sees 2 people making out, right? I just want whatever they have. Is that too much to ask for? Speaking of which, I also want whatever this sliced meat is at. Damn, I thought we were having meat, not a whole load of cake. But with booty still clearly on the mind, it's hard to initially see this image for what it actually is. Simply.
And And also look at this guy on the right, which is supposed to be the right cheek. Look at his shaved head. It has this sign.
Two bald men's heads and not some woman in a thong. Let's just say I preferred the image when I didn't know that there were bald heads involved. Although having said that, bald might be quite insulting considering that the guy to the right has a rock and roll hand symbol
Didn't I say that?
shaved into the back of his head. Yeah,
That was
that's
the first
an
thing I
interesting
saw
choice for
when I
sure.
saw the picture.
Moving on from Periodolia now, and coming up, I have a few unexpected celebrity lookalikes, starting with Ed Sheeran, the British singer.
This image looks like one of those things in Strange Things or Stranger Things, the series on Netflix.
Up, I have a few unexpected celebrity lookalikes, starting with Ed Sheeran. The British singer-songwriter certainly has, shall we say, a distinct look. However, of all the people you'd expect to go viral for looking like Ed Sheeran, it probably wasn't a 2-year-old girl. Though as unlikely as it seems, you can't deny the striking resemblance. Whether or not that's a compliment to the little girl, I'm making no comment. No offense, Ed. In another bizarre celebrity lookalike, some have put forward Logan Paul as a Princess Diana doppelganger. And the worst part is, I kinda see it.
So many people mocked Logan Paul, but now this is the ultimate troll to call him a princess. Bro, this is crazy.
Having said that, I suspect the hairdo is largely responsible for this. Now, you may remember the movie Ants, mostly for being DreamWorks' knockoff of Pixar's A Bug's Life. However, Z, the main character from Ants, has an unlikely celebrity lookalike. I mean, you can't tell me that he doesn't look like Cillian Murphy. It's hard to put my finger on what it quite is, but I'd surmise that it's mostly due to his deep-set eyes, pronounced cheekbones, and wide facial structures. Not to mention their similar grin. I just wonder if Cillian Murphy, like an ant, can also lift 20 times his body weight, or burrow underground tunnels to make his home. Ant mode Cillian Murphy ruining a picnic. Now that's a movie I'd watch. Anyway, let's move on to some optical illusions, which are the textbook examples of something you can take a look at where once you see it as intended, it can be impossible to go back. You can take a look.
Look at the right, the image here on the right. This is crazy. If you take a better look, a closer look, is a woman behind, like kissing the top of the nose of her dog. But from the angle the picture was taken, you can you can see the predator.
Look at where once you see it as intended, it can be impossible to go back. Optical illusions give the brain incomplete information, and in turn our brain fills in the blanks, which is the perfect setup to you perceiving something that isn't actually there.
That's a rabbit with the mouth towards me, towards here. But if you turn it like the ears of the rabbit, you can turn it into not a duck, but a seagull. I think he's a seagull or a duck, whatever. But ducks don't have the beak like that. Anyway, a seagull and a rabbit. So
blanks, which is the perfect setup to you perceiving something that isn't actually there. As an example, if you cover the center of this block, you'll see how both shades of gray are actually the same. But the relative darkness of lower background makes the gray seem lighter, and the relative brightness of the blue above makes the gray appear darker by contrast. If you thought that was weird, wait till you see this next illusion, this time in motion. Focus on the spinning dancer on your screen and try not to look away. Paying close attention, I want you to tell me, which way is she spinning? Clockwise? Are you sure? Look at her arm. Now look at her leg. She's spinning counterclockwise. Or is it clockwise? Concentrate on one area and you might just force yourself.
And if you remember, this guy said the G on the right corner, top corner, being the arrow, and he added here, so that's clever.
Or is it clockwise? Concentrate on one area and you might just force yourself to flip the animation around. Crazy, right? What you just witnessed is called the silhouette illusion.
I've been doing this, I know I'm not the only one, but I've been doing things like this, seeing spinning objects going both ways, clockwise and anti-clockwise. And I've been doing this since I was a kid. So yeah, I can see it right now. I can see it in both ways.
The reason it works is down to the lack of clear visual information we're given. The dancer is clearly moving, however the fact she's a silhouette means she's lacking in perceivable depth. This makes it hard to tell whether she is standing on her right leg and spinning left or her left leg and spinning right. My brain hurts.
No, hold on. She is on her right leg, no matter which way she's spinning. That's her right leg.
But back to some static illusion.
Oh my God.
Her left.
Now I see. I see it with the left leg. Oh my God. He was right.
Leg and spinning right.
My head
My
hurts.
brain hurts. But back to some static illusions and
Bro, you cannot make this shit up. Bro. I said my brain hurts. He said my head. No, I said my head hurts, and he said his brain.
left leg and spinning right. My brain hurts. But back to some static illusions, and here we see a floating man. Wait, no. That's actually just a man stood next to a wet spot of concrete, causing the illusion of a shadow that kind of melts your brain after a second glance. Anyone else suddenly have the urge to go and try this out immediately? But another optical illusion I'm now desperate to try out is this one where people position their dog's mouth so that it looks like their own. And well, the result is pretty darn hilarious. I mean, I also have to get a dog now. Okay, so if you thought this video was just about lighthearted lookalikes and fun optical illusions, then that, I'm afraid, is where you'd be wrong, my friend. Things are about to get pretty creepy in here, so don't say I didn't warn ya. Because some unseen things should really remain unseen. For instance, take a look at this selfie taken by a young woman and tell me if there's anything you notice that...
Oh my God. Bro, I thought it's a cat. Look on the image here in the mirror. I thought it's a cat, but then the longer you look at it, it more looks like a demon.
It's a little odd. See it? I mean, what in the mother of mercy is that demon face in the mirror on the bottom left-hand side?
Yeah.
I really want to believe we're looking at a reflection of a poster or something, but I'm not sure. Let's just hope this girl got out alive. Likewise, I'm also concerned for the well-being of this other young woman. Sure, it might just look like a picture of a sweet girl sat on her bed, but if you look a little closer, you'll see that things are a little more sinister than they first appear. Have you noticed yet? Yeah, there's a literal person hiding under the bed and peeking out between the mattress. Let's all just hope and pray that this was either photoshopped or staged. Keeping up with the creeps, get a load of this selfie of some pals.
I mean, if you look at it at the mattress, you can see that corner is a bit higher. But at a first glance, you can't see it. It's just...
This was either photoshopped or staged.
You do not
Keeping up with the
notice it.
creeps, get a load of this selfie of some pals out in the wilderness. All seems cheerful and fine. That is until you look a little closer and notice a face lurking in the shadows between the two
Oh my God, bro. This is really creepy.
women on the left. But let's keep the demons at bay and convince ourselves.
Yeah, look. Even here, between the hairs, you can see the top of that girl's hair. Bro, that's creepy.
That this instance is less demonic and more a case of the seventh friend just not quite making the cut, being squished partially out of sight.
Yeah.
Who else can relate to that friend? I know I can. A similar thing occurred here with this seemingly innocent wedding snap, which upon closer inspection between the middle
Yeah, the legs.
man's legs, you'll see there seems to be something lurking. And while it initially looks to be something of the ghostly kind, for my sanity, I'm going to opt to assume it is either someone playing a joke or someone's creepy-looking feral child, which is arguably even more terrifying if you ask me. Undoubtedly, though, the spookiest photo with something lurking in wait to be spotted would have to be this image of Joe and Patty Martinez after attending a friend's 50th wedding anniversary. The couple received a picture of themselves only to soon realize that something extremely creepy was afoot. Now, at a glance, it might be hard to see. However, zooming in to Joe's left shoulder, you'll spot what appears to be a terrifying grinning dog. Only there was no
the
dog there.
qualities.
In fact, photograph experts have inspected the image and see no evidence of tampering, what with the photograph's grain being completely uniform. So if there was no dog there and the image hasn't been tampered with, then what could it
quality's
be?
not that good,
Well, no one knows. However, at the time, Joe was battling addiction and is convinced that the dog-like face was some sort of demon. Since then, he's carried this picture in his wallet at all times to remind him of his darker days and help him on the road to recovery. Still to this day, it remains a cold case, but let me know down in the comments if you have any ideas about what this could possibly be.
Right, so that was quite the motivation to have that, you know, in your wallet just to push you forward to become better. The video ends here, and I don't know, the last part of it was really creepy. Like, I don't know if it was, you know, tampered with, like the pictures that were in the video being tampered, like, or they were staged, you know, to look like that and, you know, make a really creepy picture. But the thing is, when you first look at them, they really don't sit well. Again, that was it. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole video. Should I do more? Should you, I mean, you like it, you don't? Let me know in the comments. And do not be afraid. We're not quitting reacting to music. Actually, the next video will be a music reaction, so stay tuned for that. Again, thank you very much for watching and supporting the channel. See you in the next one. Bye.